So I just wanted to share with you. My name is Brian. Work at a church, UCC church in Fort Thomas, Kentucky. It's right outside of UCC, right?
He sure is.
Right outside of Cincinnati, about 3 miles from the State Red Stadium. And I used to work at Second Presbyterian Church in Indianapolis, and the former pastor, Bill Enright, went to the Lake Institute on Faith and Giving at the IU School of Philanthropy and started what's called the Executive Certificate in Religious Fundraising. So probably the best fundraising school in the U.S. or school on philanthropy is at IU, which is the campus is in Indianapolis. It's IU School of Philanthropy, and they have different departments. One of their departments is the Lake Institute on Faith and Giving, and they study giving, and they study the trends, and they study how people are giving differently. And the whole school itself, the School of Philanthropy, studies giving over periods of decades, and they do seminars. You can go there, you can get a master's or a PhD, and you can do this 4-day seminar. So I'm just going to give you some of the stuff that I learned. Did you press that? Press my
Jesus.
So one of the, and I was interested in taking this class because I've been sole pastor at a church for 2 years now, and they do fundraising pretty poorly. Their stewardship campaign, they have a deficit. And since I knew about Bill Enright and IU, it was 2 hours from me, I decided to go take this class. I actually took it at McCormick, and it was neat because I was one of the youngest persons there. So I feel like I got these sort of neat resources to figure out how to raise money and development. But just I'll come on this side and share some stuff, and then we can really digest this stuff together. Because I only want to talk for like 5 minutes and then move on and have a conversation about fundraising. So, I don't know if you can see that chart at all, but that big piece right there, right here, so these are the 2012 contributions. So $316 billion were given to organizations all throughout the United States, nonprofits, and of that, 101 billion went to religion. 41 went to education, 40 billion went to human services, 30 billion to foundations, and on. So let's take a quick look at another one. So what's interesting about giving in this country since the 50s is that there's a lot more opportunities to give to different organizations that are 501c3, which means if you give to them, you get a deduction on your taxes. So in 2003, there was 964,000 501c3s. Now, 3 years ago, there was 1 million. More charts. Hang on a second, I'm going to find this chart here. All right, so this is a good chart to look at real quick. So in 1973 to 1977, the percentage of giving, 49% went to religion, and followed by education, human services, foundations, public society benefit, and arts, cultures, and humanities. Now, if you go over to 2008 and 2012, the percentage of money that's given, only 34.5% goes to religion, and then there's these new categories which didn't really exist, and there's people giving some more stuff, so there's more opportunities to give. All right, people are giving actually less money than they used to give in the past as a percentage of their income. Here. So in 1995, there was 86,000 registered organizations related to public charities that are religious, related to that were 501c3s. And in the year 2010, there were 226,000. right? These are the religion organizations. So see how not only are there more options to give, there are more options to give to different religious stuff, right? So you're competing not only against other nonprofits like museums, sororities, fraternities, colleges, you're also competing against other religious organizations like Young Life, Navigators, the person who writes letters saying you want to go on a mission trip. All right, so let's get rid of this one. Great chart. We'll look at this real quick and then we'll move on. So Henry Nouwen says this: fundraising is precisely the opposite of begging. Rather, we are declaring we have a vision that is amazing and exciting. So fundraising as ministry is different from just general stewardship. You aren't really doing stewardship campaigns. All the stewardship campaigns at your churches are, you're not really doing stewardship, because if you look at what stewards actually did in Scripture, they didn't raise money. Right? So they managed. So stewardship is like this bogus name, so people don't feel bad talking about money in churches. Right? You're really doing, and development is sort of a slightly less bogus name that they come up with at colleges. You're doing fundraising. Yeah. You're doing fundraising. It's a fundraising as ministry. So it's not a response to the crisis. It's a way of announcing vision. It's an invitation to other people into our mission. So I love my college. It's a small liberal arts college in Georgia, Berry College. Founded in 1902. I can tell you the story. And if they came to me and they said, Ryan, we were wondering if you'd be willing to donate money to us because we're having a hard time paying our bills, I would say no. Because that shows to me that you're doing a poor job of managing what resources you have. There's nothing exciting that I want to participate in if you're having a hard time paying your bills. But they came to me in September, and they came to all alumni, and they said, hey, we're doing a $100 million campaign. We're going to raise money so that we can do deep, transformative things with students, scholarships, more mentorship, more mentoring. And we did a private fundraising where we only asked some donors. We've already raised $75 million of that. Would you like to participate in this amazing vision, this mission? I said, yeah, I would. You're doing exactly what I would want to do with my $25 that I gave you. It was small, it was symbolic. I wanted to be a participant in that. So, there's really a lot of things I could throw at you, but I don't want it to be a conversation. I want it to be a conversation, not a me talking for an hour. One of the things that he talked about, I think is probably the most important thing here, is look for it if we can find it. Well, I'll ask you a question. Here's a question for y'all. In your own settings, talk amongst each other. Who is responsible for raising and managing the ministry's finances? How much money needs to be raised, and how does a pastor/priest raise funds? And what are the resources for fundraising? And then I'll find the next slide. So talk with each other.
You kind of did that, right? I mean, just that first question's really good. Yeah.
Who is responsible for raising and managing the ministry's finances? And how much money needs to be raised? Who's responsible? All right.
For raising money? Kind of falls to me, but okay. Because the churches we have, we decide. Maybe can donations. Which is kind of more and still managing money. My other churches.
Small details. But it's important I'm the prime.
So we did that the first year.
I worked with
See.
the treasurer and that committee is the one that's responsible.
First of all,
We invested $1,000 to train. Process. we had started 6 weeks ahead of time, telling people that this is kind of what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to spend it. We fund these priorities. And fund the week of Christmas. We took the offering. And decided to do it again. We decided not to do pledge. Like I said, we're not going to do a pledge anymore. Pledge numbers are fantasy number. We don't do them all in. Some people are getting more than one class. And so what we did was we budgeted based on 90% of what actually goes in. And so if we end up where we were, the same amount last year or more, then we'll meet our budget. And so then we did it. It wasn't as successful, but it was still more than if we had not asked for it. And now we're actually getting ready to our next campaign. Starts in the next couple of weeks. Actually, it's going to start in June. And we're going to do a digital event and encourage people to start getting electronically and automated.
Right, yes.
Yes.
This is not now.
But
Not what you think.
But some of the things that, some of the small things that I've done, so maybe we get someone who gives for the first time, or someone gives for the first time, and talk about why it's, what they're giving us, and why it's important as part of their to the church. Some things that are a little more, I want to say, controversial that we're not accepted quite as easily, but we're going to be trying.
All right, so here's
barbecue.
this is the other chart I wanted to show you. So someone here needs to raise money. Is that you? All of you probably do. Okay, Abby does. So we use you as our.
Yes.
All right, so
Use Abby.
one of the things they taught us was, there's a whole bunch of stuff they taught us, but I'm trying to pass on what might make sense, is establishing your vision. Like, why does your position exist? And this is, and there are in the book Good to Great. Anyone read that book? Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Yes.
I
read the supplement.
Yeah, we had to read, I read both of them, and they made us read the second tiny one for this one. So it's a great book, and he talks about like what makes companies great and what makes organizations that aren't profit-driven great. And he looks at this sort of thing right here. So what are you deeply passionate about, Abby, in your setting, or what is your whatever organization / structure? What are they deeply passionate about? What can you be the best at? What drives your resource engine? What are your people involved and passionate about? And that is where your true mission and program should be. Does that make sense? Because what's amazing is that there's money. There's literally money available within your congregations. There's money. What the research is showing is that there's high net donors are wanting to give money away because they want to feel that their money is making a difference in the world. They want to be part of something that's transcendent, but the church does a really bad job of connecting money, right? Because we don't talk about money, or we have high donors in our congregation. We don't want to piss them off or make them upset, so we never ask them, and then they die and they gave like their will over to a local college they never went to or something, right? And they just lost out on like $50 million. But so what they argue about in this setting is that we have to develop a ministry of fundraising. So we can't just talk about money and stewardship. We have to talk about money. Jesus talks about money more than any other thing except for the kingdom of God, right? And possessions. So talking about money as money is the root of all evil, right? Where's that? What?
Love of money.
It's not, you're right. Love of money. Money is neutral. It's neither good nor bad. It's what you do with it, how it shapes you. And what they're showing is that with high donors, they want to give money away, they want to be shaped, they want a way of making a difference, leaving a legacy in the world. So Harvard Seminary, which is in Connecticut, did some research and predicted in the year 2017, so in 2 years, that there's going to be a tsunami of death. Simply because so many people who are older are going to die, and we're going to see the largest transfer of wealth that we've ever seen in America in the next decade.
So make friends with old people, is what you're saying.
Where's it going?
Largest transfer of wealth, but money is going to be moved from one generation to the next. High donors, small families.
Long-term care.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not gonna see any.
you might not see anybody, but some people. We had a woman in the church pass away in a church near a UCC church near us, and she gave $300,000 to the church. Right, this is a small church; it's not very big. They got $300,000, and they spent it on an elevator and air conditioning. But that's a woman. She just, and it was unrestricted giving. She just gave the money to love the church. And so maybe we could get in the circle and actually kind of talk to each other better. And this is more presentation style. I could do that. Sarah, you're like a host, right?
Yeah, let's scoot around this table.
You're the.
Just, we're already enough. No, I think we're okay to talk like this. Does everyone want to?
Okay.
Feel like you're in the move? Should we like,
But I want to know,
like,
what do you want to know? How can we help each other out? What?
How do you find out who the high donors
How
are?
do you know who gets at your church?
Okay, so
If
here's
so,
the
why
thing.
not?
Well, I'm in a weird situation.
Who's playing?
Okay.
So,
The
yeah,
situation I need to raise money for, we have no donors because we haven't asked for any money.
Did you have it what?
We haven't asked for any money.
That's right. We have one church.
they vote the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same project, it's the same thing.
The slate project.
Right, and we don't get paid for the same
So
project.
tell me about the slate project and let's brainstorm with that.
Well, I don't know if that's, okay. No, I don't know if that would be most helpful for
Yeah,
the,
what's the vision of the slate project?
what is the what?
The vision.
What is
Why
the
would
vision
I
of the slate
want to
project?
participate in the slate project?
Well, and you,
Necessary elevator speech.
so the Slate Project is a new kind of Christian community rooted in the ancient and the arts, both online and in person, in Baltimore, Maryland. So if you live in Baltimore, you can come to our weekly worship, Breaking Bread, on Monday nights. You can come to our Bible study on Wednesday mornings at the local coffee shop of our choice. You can engage online. We have a Twitter chat every Thursday. So the vision is, what is the church have a blank slate? And that's kind of the question that we're grappling with as we try to create this new community in Baltimore and creating space online for being community too. So
And so how much money do you need?
that is what we're trying to figure out.
Probably somewhere between 150 and 200.
If we wanted to start getting
To run a
paid
year?
to do this,
Per year.
right, if we wanted to have 3 full-time, let's say full-time or us part-time?
Yeah.
Even just to have Jen and I go part-time, paid, plus 1 full-time person would be $150 a year.
And then we have rentals.
Which we don't have to pay right now because we don't pay for our space.
Good time.
So if you have a pie chart, what percentage of that money is going to what?
A large, like majority of churches, a large portion is going to be staff.
All right, so how would you reframe that?
So you do the narrative story of your
Yeah.
pie chart.
So if you're
So
going
so what you would say is, what percentage of my time is on the street doing homeless ministry to the folks that we mostly invite to have our meal. So that's what I would say is, that's what we do more of a narrative chart than an actual.
What part of your time, like what part of the ministry is creating?
Exactly, that's your time.
What part of this building relationships, blah, blah, blah.
You say that, but then where have you shared that? Right?
Well, that's the thing, like.
We haven't done it yet.
You know how to.
Because we've been paid outright for 3 years, we signed $50K. So now we're,
Thank you.
the LCA church,
Well, so it's interesting, because one of the things they say about new churches is there's a danger in being too well-funded.
Right, there is.
Because you've not like done the work or created the system, so like where some new church planners are over there like, I don't have any money, and it's sort of like, well, that's actually the best place to be, because now you're gonna have to create the system, and there's probably a truth to being somewhere in the middle of that.
We're somewhere in the middle. So we're almost at the end of 2 years of a 3-year funding situation that funded one full-time person and to build a program. So that's what we're trying to like plan now, so that before we run out of money, we have a system in place.
Who raises money? Is there anyone to raise money?
It would be us or
Unless we hire somebody to raise the money for us.
Well, I mean, I'm just wondering who, you know, like, who's the best person to raise the money? Is it you guys, or is it you guys by default?
the best people to talk about why the slate project is important. I mean, we can talk about it in one way, but the people who are in it, you know, I'm trying not to say numbers. Their story is probably more or differently compelling than ours.
All right, so I haven't heard anything about the people who are part of your ministry, but I'd love to know more about their stories. Who are the people who you interact with, and why does your existence make a difference in their lives?
So can I just pause you for just a second? That's very helpful, and that's the kind of work we already know how to do. What I don't know is then who do I go with all this work that we've done, then how do we find the people who have the money, who we can then have this back and forth conversation with?
This be a good time for you to send.
I'm sorry?
I hang out at art exhibits.
Okay,
Those people are the only people that care about art
so
museums
let's go to
in
the
general.
go to our museum.
So
Yeah.
I've been like making friends and being about town, and I don't have it yet. Like, I've got loose connections, but no one that I'm close enough to yet that I can say, let's have dinner, I need $5,000.
Right.
You know, but art museums are where rich people hang out, so that's where I hang out. Abby.
So, thank you. So as I started this thing, one thing I wish there'd been a little bit more structure for is that there's a period of time where you actually do have to develop this network. And you've already been doing ministry for a little while, so you're jumping into it after the fact, which is kind of harder because you've got the ministry here and then you have to start to do this whole other process that
So
maybe would have been better if it was done at the beginning to have in place.
in the network of the donors,
Yes.
Yeah.
we kind of have it.
Okay, good. So then, but the one thing that I really wish that someone had said, this is absolutely how you have to do it, is start a database. Your Excel spreadsheet, you have this list of people that are definite people that you could ask, and you have this list of people that are potentials, that you're still working on that relationship.
Yeah.
You keep track of every single email, and then write a description of who they are and how to remember who they are, things about them, like, that database will become like the way. You know, and you also keep track of all the people who you might want to invite to this that aren't necessarily there. But having that list, that is the best place to start, and then you have a more organized approach to say, okay, I'm gonna go through this list, I'm gonna invite every single person, like this top 10 category of the people that I really think could donate big bucks. I'm gonna go have a lunch meeting with them, and like an art pitch. And then I went through a couple of different things that did trainings on the actual pitch,
Okay.
of like learning how to do the ask.
Yeah.
And that was really helpful for me because I think none of us are trained in asking for money
Right.
in a way.
Put a slide for that.
That's
It's like, if you know this, you guys, but if you ask the way that you just explained it, I wouldn't have given money. I don't know who the people are, I don't know why it's helpful, and I'm not sure exactly what you can do with the money. So it could be, I know for me, I feel like part of the reason that, not to get all super spiritual about it, but part of the reason God has not led me to too many rich people is because I need to perfect my speech first. Like, I don't want to fumble with the first rich person. I want to have my pitch really clean and beautiful, and then maybe the Lord will introduce me to our friend, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and that might be true, but I would also encourage you to practice maybe on not the richest people, but some other people, because you only get better at it by practicing. That is the only way you learn how to do this task. Because it does
It is
sound,
hard,
it's fumbly and it is a hot mess the first couple times you ask people. And then it turns out right one time you're like, oh, I gotta remember how
Is
to
this
do
in
this.
order, or is this the amount of time you spend doing these things?
Well, fundraising, so this is if I remember correctly, you have to identify who are your donors. So who are your donors? So you identify who are your donors. Who gave you $250,000?
A Lutheran church.
One Lutheran church, or was it?
350,000, yeah, and one Lutheran church.
We're going back for more.
Yeah.
What's the name of the church?
No.
You thank your donors. You send them like a nice handwritten note or
We
pictures.
just have to then- Well, thank you.
You also involve them. You know, you bring them participating in the ministry. What does it look like to walk alongside the people? Because they want to know that the money that they're giving is making a difference. And you ask them. The ask is the.
Yeah.
I think that's the exciting part. Because then you're inviting them to participate in something greater than themselves. And if you have your vision, you have your story, you have, your question.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I took a class through CPR, so Sarah, please correct me if I'm saying something wrong. But I have a couple of colleagues who started a new church development, and the way that they do it with their donors is they, like some nonprofits will do, they divide stuff up, like they have an after-school program, so $25 a month will provide this many snacks and that sort of thing. So even if you have what you might consider lower donors, I don't know if the right word would be, people with less of an income maybe, or that you perceive as having less of an income, then there's still something they can do. And sometimes, or maybe a lot of times, it's people with less money that tend to give more easily. So if you start kind of at that level, and then you also say, like, who else should I talk to? Who else do you think might be like into feeding hungry children and working systemically against the problems in our education system by what we're doing? Who else would be there to talk to?
You have an already existing way of giving money. If I want to give you money, can I do it easily for you, yes?
Online, absolutely.
How about the city
I would
card?
say
If
county
our
records.
is working.
Well, our problem is right now is that ELCA is holding up the giving of their tax exempt number to us, so that we can
Oh,
actually.
got it.
So just so you know, anybody can be a church, and you don't have to have a tax exempt number to do that.
Yeah, but for some reason, the way that it's set up, because of the protocol safety, how we use our money, everything gets filtered through a particular through to the Senate. So we have to do it for accountability reasons, because we don't want to run into 1,001 worship community, so we started our own little entity.
Speak of that.
Right, I mean, so we're trying to go the legit way of how the Delaware Synod really wants us to do it.
Have you brought it up in conversation that they're kind of tying your hands? I'm Presbyterian and I'm doing a new church development, so it's sort of the same thing, because I'm like, on my giving page, and the executive presbyter is like, ooh, and I'm like, it doesn't have to come like directly to me, but it can feed in, and let's just be sure that that's not just like replacing grant money, that it's held sort of in trust or whatever for like my 4th year, my 5th year, and my 6th year. But it's tricky to have that conversation with them so that they don't think you're out as a televangelist or whatever. But for me, it's been really important to start that dialogue. I'm in my 1st year, so to try to get them to understand that church planning, sustainability looks a whole lot different, and I need for them to trust me and join in the adventure, helping to support, and letting me do online giving is a very easy way.
We're also exploring tweet giving and a few other ways of giving, because our presence on social media platforms hasn't been a website.
So do you have a bank account that you write checks out of?
No, so that it goes through a note, so we have to go through like the Lutherans who have the thing, so yeah, we don't have any of that capability yet.
So I think what's interesting in listening to this from my perspective is like, how you all have managed to not have to integrate giving and the theology of giving into the culture of your community. Partly because your hands have been tied, but also like, kind of because you don't have to, right? And so, and how that affects you long term.
Yeah.
And it feels to me like yesterday, it should be different. So what going forward can you do? What are your next steps? What's the thing that changes tomorrow that makes it so that you guys can do online giving? That you have a website that links to online giving, that you are asking people to give, because giving is part of what spiritually we do as Christians, and it is good for us. It is a part of what transforms our lives, that we give of what we have because God gives to us. So like, how is that cultivated in community?
And so I think we're trying to do broader giving rather than just cash giving. So we're asking people to cook for 35 people for our meals. We ask people to give by sharing our Facebook page, liking our Facebook page, sharing, retweeting our tweets, and doing other ways that are not, that are measurable, but are not necessarily linked with cash. And I think cash is important, but we're dealing with a good population that doesn't necessarily have cash to give. So how is it that we're able to invite their gifts and their giving as well? So that's kind of been a little bit of a sticky.
Yeah, the IU would say, you gotta separate, you can't have the talent, time piece, and that's a whole separate entity. And even if it's just like giving $1 or $2, because for me, that was the thing when I did young adult ministry, second pres, young adults, like, I don't have enough money, they were taking it seriously, like more than I was as a person on staff there. But they wanted to, well, I volunteered here, and I volunteered there, and does that count as giving? And what I would say, no, it doesn't. It counts as giving up,
Counts volunteering.
it counts as volunteering, which is good, you should do that. But money, the actual parting of your cash, has a transformative effect on you, which I think is pretty
Like
positive.
your wallet, like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's, so giving of actual money, even if it's, and I went to a lecture with Christian Smith, he's a professor at Notre Dame, great guy. He's doing money now with this thing. And, sorry if you're watching this, Christian Smith, he's doing generosity. He's probably not watching this. And his lecture was great. He talked about, he said that there's this research, this experiment where they had a mom and a kid in a room and a researcher, and what was it? There's something about the brain science of giving that activates something in your brain that is similar to taking care of your child who's crying in need. If that makes sense. So when your child is crying, you go, you comfort your child, and activate something in your brain that giving of actual money also activates. So nurturing generosity is actually good for your brain. It actually creates like this effect that is good for your well-being. So people who give, like they live longer, or they're happier, all these sort of interesting correlations. So nurturing generosity, nurturing giving shows that, and Christian Smith argues that most givers in this country come from a religious tradition. Right? We go to church more often, and we're likely to give more often. And I think what I find interesting in like the Southern Baptist tradition, which I've been looking at recently, is that they're doing a more interesting job of giving as a spiritual discipline than the mainline churches are. They're like saying, you want to follow Jesus, save souls, you got to tithe, like little 10%. That's what it says in the scripture, is what you got to do, and I promise you, it's going to transform your life. Not tithe that you get a Benz out of it.
Some say that,
There's
and
not
a lot of
prosperity
them say
gospel
you'll get to heaven. So
Yeah, we
like,
don't want that.
there's a whole theological piece that I think progressive churches actually we struggle because our message is not as urgent,
Right.
right? Like, who knows when you might die, and you want to have it all figured out, so you better give 10% to the church. And I do think there's sort of we're working from a disadvantage in that front.
Right,
But I
just scare the crap out of people. They
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Awesome.
Right.
That's what you guys should do. Start sending No, but I think we that being said, I actually believe progressive Christianity has a better message and it's worth people buying into, giving to, like sacrificially wanting to be a part of, because it truly is something that can change lives and change the world. And that's what we're sort of here for. So I think it's kind of awesome we get to be a part of that conversation and a part of cultivating in people that there is, there's something better to do with their money than spend it on a flat screen TV. And while I'd venture to guess you have a population of people who I understand, and I'm questioning that a lot of them don't have a lot of resources. There are probably some people connected to you who do have resources, and I forget who I was having this conversation with earlier, but there's a UU minister, Victoria Weinstein. One of the things she said, and I think it's really important, church is not a public utility. It costs money, right? And so we have to figure out a way to actually resource this. And don't retweet me because I didn't say it. Pete Spang said it. But like, I think there's a huge gift in what she said there, because we, even when we're doing missional ministry, like what you're talking about is a missional community that may never actually pay for itself. The people who receive the gifts of it may never actually be the ones who fund it. You have to be able to figure out the circle of people on the outside of that who will be funding it and who have long-term commitments to it because of the vision and mission that you're putting forth, and the leadership, which is, that's why I say, like, yesterday, what's the plan? Because this seems like you were saying, like, it would have been great if you had this network stuff sort of started.
We have a list, but it's small, and it's just the people that we already know. And just kind of the way that you talk about, he's just like, the 1% that hangs out somewhere, it's kind of like, okay, well, tell me where they are, I'll go talk to them, like.
Well,
okay,
so there's some work could be grant funded. I think that's a trend. But the other side of that is that invitation to giving doesn't have to happen just because you sit down with them. That you equip, if you have a list of people, then what you want to do is pyramid scheme that out. You want to ask, like, you're looking for five. Sure. But like, you want to find 5 people and say, how I need you to give to our community is to introduce me to 5 people who care about homeless people in Baltimore, and who want to make sure that there's a community of faith that's serving these folks. So who are they? And then those 5 people, they get that same invitation. And so that constant building out of your system is critical.
Yeah, and I'd argue also, like, soliciting small amount of money from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which I think would be a good point to do your thing.
Oh, sorry. And somehow it said we were really excited about the funding thing, but anyway, I took this back, like I needed to have this in order to say it. Interestingly, in all these little meetings, I keep on thinking, gosh, there's something going on that is like what we're needing here. But Convergence, which is the sort of new brainchild thing of a bunch of folks like Doug Padgett, Brian McLaren, and Cameron Trimble. They're in the next couple of days, actually, they're going to release a crowdfunding site for ministries, and they've been in conversation with the Ecumenical Partnership, which is our denominational folks who do the work. So, like, for you guys, Ruben is the LCA guy, and
See, we're not, one is USA, and she's our LCA guys.
got it. So, and the Presbyterian folks, anyway. So those folks, though, know, right, and in the development of this, wanted sites that were specific to denominations, right? So there'll be a site that holds all of them that goes out to denominational sites, but will showcase ministries, and you'll be able to, it'll be like Indiegogo or GoFundMe, but it will be specifically for ministries. And you'll get to tell your story, but it's interesting, like the elevator pitch piece. I'm thinking about, you ever listen to the podcast Startup?
Yeah.
I'd highly recommend that for anyone who's doing innovative stuff. I just think it's interesting, gets your sort of juices flowing, but the pitch is hugely important. And being able to convince people that you have a mission and a vision that they should be funding, because they're people who, we all have resources. And, you know, I'm on the internet and someone's like, oh, don't you want to give to this little, you know, kid who was in an accident? And I'm like, oh, my kid was like, yeah, okay, maybe. But then there's like a whole story and I'm reading it and my friend says, don't you want to give to this? And I'm like, oh, well, maybe I want to give to this. And so like, there's a mechanism by which it matters the connections and the relationships and continuing to build those out.
When is it come out? When is it being released?
In the next week.
So the school plan would say, make a case. What's your case? If you're good looking for funding, there's a whole, what they call four-legged stool in a traditional like setting, which maybe not work for y'all, but it's, you know, the regular pledging and tithing, there's legacy, giving money in your will, there's capital campaign, and then there's like one-time gifts for special projects. So it's four things. And you have to work on all four of those things, which is pledging / tithing, special one-time things where you need to fix something, capital campaigns, and planned giving. Planned giving, there's a lot of resources within denominations where you can give in your will now, you can give your stocks or your annuities and all this different stuff that can help fund stuff. And so in your congregations now, there's probably people who would be interested, if you, I'm not saying you should reframe it as mission or missional, sort of that theology idea, but for me, it's coming across something that's missional. So if you came to my church and said, this is something that's missional, the body of Christ in this work in Baltimore, we would probably give you money because we have money that we do the mission. And we might even have some nice ladies who say, this is awesome, I'll totally start giving me money for my activity. I don't know if it's working on it. But there's probably, we have a lot of, the IE people say that everyone else in the nonprofit world laughs at us. They think, oh my goodness, you guys get to hang out with your funders every week. We would love that. We don't get to do that. You have the easiest job in the world. You're selling.
Right, it's cool.
You know, you're putting out there something that's amazing and transcendent. You meet with your donors every week, and you're doing a terrible job at it.
Yeah.
Which is pathetic because you have like this amazing vision and mission all encapsulated in the life of Jesus. And part of it is because we got lazy in the 50s. People just gave. They were used to giving. The war, giving was not a big deal. You know, they gave so much. So.
Can I bounce an idea off the group? So I'm starting a new community, and it's interfaith and it's for generally suburban folks. And my plan is to not have like donations or tithing, but to have dues, like the Jewish temples do. So to say like, according to your, however much you make, you know, you can pay $10 a month, like a Netflix subscription, to become a member of this thing. You can come to the meetings for free, but if you want to be a contributing member, here, maybe it's $20 a month for your like income level. So it's all the giving will be done online, because it's all young people who have electronic giving. It'll all be automatic, so that it comes out every single month, so they don't have to remember, and they have to bring cash. Like, so, I don't know, do you see any pitfalls? This is my plan.
Say again, it's an interdenominational or interfaith art thing. So
Right, it's an
not
interfaith
like-
art group. So it's a church geared for artists and for creative folks. So we're not gonna call it even members, we're gonna call it resident artists. If you wanna be a resident artist, then you pay a certain amount per month. If you just wanna hang out at the weekly gatherings, like, you're allowed to, but there's a clear path towards membership, and, you know, there's responsibilities that go along with it.
It sounds like dues just like artist guild.
Yeah.
Like we have an artist guild in our community, and you have to pay dues to be part of it. And then you also have to work your time as well in the shop, and and so I think for artists especially, it'd be something that they would be very familiar with. And translating that to a faith-based community, artist community, would be something that I don't think we would shy away from.
They made more sense than passing the plate around, which is like the worst fundraising idea ever. So.
I think it's awesome. I mean, I think that kind of the idea that community doesn't cost money, right? Like, everybody came here and paid something to be here. Like it costs money to do this. You can't have a space and you gotta eat food or have your fair trade coffee or, like, what are you gonna do? It costs money, right? So it's fascinating to me, like even in my own faith community, I'm aware there are people who come and never give, and they drink coffee every week, and I just think, gosh, that is expensive coffee. Nothing. Like
You're not entitled, you get the cheap coffee.
So, no, but like,
It's over there.
it doesn't even occur to them. It doesn't occur to them. We are a public utility to them.
Right.
Like they are deserving of what they are getting here. Because we're church and that's what we do, we give. But it costs money to be community. It costs money to rent space. It costs money to have leadership. It costs, and so not actually generating that conversation, right? So maybe you don't even have to call it dues, but yeah, dues are fine because it is sort of, if that's a realistic framing of what it costs money to do community. And we can sort of put it in this like pass the plate giving, and you're just doing it out of generosity, or we can give you a chart and show you. Like, actually, you should be giving or how much you giving.
I wonder though, like, am I taking the spirituality out of giving? I kind of want to. I kind of want to separate it because of all the baggage and make it just like a business thing. Like, here's the cost of community, here's what we think you can give, and not talk about it in the like, this is good for your soul way. And I don't know if that's just because I'm a whim or.
I think it's just maybe something you don't have to name and becomes a side effect. Do you know what I mean? And you're, as far as talking about like it's a spiritual discipline to give, that like for this situation, that it's something that will organically hopefully evolve out people without you having to say like, but then they're like, but this is for, like, we thought this is sort of a different thing. This isn't like we haven't just wandered into a standard, because I'm Presbyterian, I'll say Presbyterian church where we do it a certain way. So because it is a unique community, to me it just makes sense that also the way you give would be unique as well. And since you're doing kind of a percentage base, I think that is great because then that helps everybody feel like it's kind of fair.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everybody doesn't have to pay.
$50 a month for some people is like nothing, and for other people they start with that.
And again, like just commenting for myself, so people who roll out of seminary with some debt, who have to apply for a scholarship to come to a conference, like just taking all that into consideration, I think it's a great idea.
I guess the question I have is, then are you, because you've set what the giving is, will people then not go over that giving amount? So like, what is your giving amount you're thinking for someone, a family of two that, like a married couple that has 3 kids?
Yeah,
or
I
is
don't
it
either.
100,
I don't know how to
100K,
calculate that.
or 150K?
Is there a calculator somewhere, like?
I mean, but I'm saying, so if you say $100 a month, you're cutting the thing way too
Well,
low.
what if there's 2 pieces to that, right? Like you do have dues, but you also have a donate to support, right? Like you don't go do away with the cultivation of an idea that people could give to the ministry that's happening. You just say like the toilet paper and the coffee and me helping run this thing actually costs some money, and I've worked it out to figure out we need 50 of you paying $20 a week, and so here's the chart. I actually do think that that's an interesting piece of giving, and Brian McMahon was talking about that at a conference, like actually naming what you need. So if you have a need for $200,000, break that down, right? We need 5 people who are gonna give $20,000, and then we're gonna have 10 people who get, like 10, and then all of a sudden 200,000. But tier that out, and I think that it's helpful for people to see where they are, and not put like we need 65 people at the $20 a year mark, right? Like don't lowball yourself either, right? Give people a belief that they could be in this upper tier of giving.
I think the tension, and I 100% agree with you, because it does cost for community. I think the tension is telling the story well enough that it's giving to more than buildings and salaries, because that people just have no, at least in my context, these have no interest in giving to buildings and or salaries, unless it's become part of the culture. And it's like, okay, I do give to this because I care about this church. But in some of the places where the pastor had stopped asking for many years, like, there's no value, or newcomers who show up for church, there's just no value for giving money to a building. And all the capital campaigns just make me want to cry because they keep talking about, we preach the sermon on how our identity is in God and in the future, this mystery of like believing that good things are to come. And our identity is not the traditions and our buildings and our worship style. That is not where our identity is. And then this guy got up afterwards to do a spiel about the capital campaign, and talked about how the building is their identity. And they need to fix this thing's about 20 years old, and like went on for like 10 minutes about all these things that were getting ready to break or wonderful. And I just went, like, you can't tell that story. That's not a real story. But anyway, the other thing I was going to say though is that there are other models aside from having a community sustain itself when it's not possible for that to happen. And one of the things that I've had to do, at least right now, as I'm trying to bring together this community, especially people who don't go to church, is rename myself more of a missionary. I'm in a post-Christian context, hanging out with, walking alongside, building relationships with people who are not Christian and have not bought into the community idea. And so that piece of it is I need you to believe that this is worth doing, that it is worth me being present, and I need your support thinking of me more as a missionary, because we pay for missionaries overseas. Why the hell not?
And that's how you sell yourself and make it so that your salary is worth in people's minds.
There's your Peter Singer, philosopher at Princeton University, not religious guy, is a really great guy in terms of generosity and giving. And he has this, what he calls a graduated tithe based on your income. You're going to make the world a better place.
Can you make this available on the slides that you have? Is it possible?
Yes, we'll do that.
Make all these slides, all of ours. Okay, so keep going about.
There is up there, you can look at it. Well, question for those who are in churches right now, do you know who gives and how much they give? You do?
Yes, I do.
I know who gives to not know.
Are you the senior soul?
Only one.
So what about
I'm working on it.
I don't know either.
The pastor
because-
used to not ever know anything ever.
Yeah.
So, big sleuth.
Yeah, I know some who give, I don't know all, because of the same culture, pastors shouldn't know who gives. And I saw the chart, they gave me a sliver, and they said, well, here's some, and I was blown away by who gave how much, and who didn't give that much. So like, some person gave a huge, I was like, oh my God, that person gives that much money, it's incredible, I had no idea. She's a school teacher, and one person, family with a lot of resources, hardly gave anything.
Is that $105,000
Yeah.
a year?
That's how much your income is. So if you make less than $105,000.
Everyone that I know makes it.
Yeah.
Then-
This is not particularly useful for churches.
Nobody
We might take that away.
Your
Your
donation, less than percent of your income, I don't know how much.
No, but like, so, so I need to calculate for people who make $18,000 a year, and then $25,000 a year, like $35,000.
I think this is helpful though, because it addresses the economic reality of our country, right? So that most of our congregants or the people in our worshiping communities are in
Right.
that
Are in
less
less
than
than 1% of your income.
Well, so that it's really hard. I mean, I got blasted for not giving 10% of my salary, not doing an actual tithe. And I said, I'm the sole income earner in my family of 3, and you only pay me $32,000 a year. I cannot give you I cannot give to the church 10%.
Wait, the church was telling you to give back the money that they give you?
It's a weird thing, it's a whole other.
I don't do that.
Unofficial policy.
I give my family out.
And it didn't make me a better person or make me feel happy or generous when I got money back.
Yes, I know.
Joe, your famous finances, do you have contributing thoughts to
Let me
your?
ask you, what Abby said about telling stories and not talking about the building is a big deal. We used a little book called Ask, Thank, Tell
Oh, that's a good book, I read that.
by Charles Darwin. And essentially, you gather personal, especially if you want the person that whatever your church did benefited, make a story about what it meant to them to have a free breakfast the last weekend or to have someone take care of them when they couldn't walk, or whatever it is. Or let's say something your church does and put it next to their family. And you tell stories. And if this is special to you in any way, you don't say, it's what you need. This is what you need, but you don't have to break it out in detail. Narrative budgets are another interesting way of telling a story, because the cost of your building, if so many groups use it, and because they couldn't afford to go anywhere else, some of you have preschools in your buildings that otherwise people couldn't afford to send someone to preschool like that. That in itself is, so whatever percentage of your building that's used, and you take your utility bills, heat, electric, gas, water, all of that is actually what you spend on ministry. So in a sense, your building is part of your ministry, it depends on how much happens there. And so ask, thank, tell is you tell your stories, you ask for what you need, and then you follow up and thank people.
So it should be tell, ask, thank.
Yeah, well, I think it started with ask because you have to ask, like, assuming you're to tell a story of what you do with their money afterwards.
Okay, got it.
So it depends on what part of the year you started.
Tell, ask,
Yeah.
thank, tell.
Well, part of fundraising is ministry, and it can't be confined to the 1 month in like in October. It's gotta be a whole year long, and you gotta talk about how
It's like,
how people are transformed because of the work that you do. You know, what is it? Tell that narrative. And it's important for people to get up and talk about how giving their money makes a difference in their lives. Because we had people do that. I said, you gotta get up and talk about giving, and no one talked about giving. They talked about the church, but I wanted to talk about how does giving, writing a check out, how does it change, how is it a spiritual practice as much as prayer or worship or service or mission? How is that? Because we take something that is a very spiritual discipline and we make it something shameful, and then we wonder why people.
and Will's request is very important too. As a matter of fact, we're going to use a teachable moment. We just got a check for 11% of a deceased pastor's estate. It was ordained in our church 60 years ago.
Wow.
And we got notified last year that 11% of his estate was coming to us, and we got a check this week.
We had a very similar situation in our church where we got a $300,000 estate notification of a person that we could not figure out who the heck they were, and it turns out that they had come to our concert series or their community concert series. So that's free, like we don't charge money. It's a community thing for the arts because we think that it matters. But we have some really wealthy people that come, and that guy
Same people that go to art.
Tony on and gave some big cash. I think the thanking thing is really, the thanking piece is a really, really important piece. And the handwritten note, it goes a long way on a lot of different things.
You asked for like a chart, and I don't think there's no right chart, but like this is simply a table created in, whatever, software.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it allows people to situate their giving. So I look at that and I'm someone, if my family unit pays $100,000 and I'm like, oh, we're giving $1,200 to the church, awesome. Oh. That's not even on the chart, right? Because that's actually ridiculous. That's if I'm a family making $100,000, like I should be giving away more than $1,200, not just to the church, to anything. Like my giving ought to be more than that. And so part of that, right here at the bottom. Sorry. You could leave that in this. Using the apple. No, go to that same thing, but at the bottom of that right there, that paragraph, right? Asking people to think about their money as a reflection of their values, right? So look at what you did to church and other organizations and other expenditures in your life, right? Do you spend more on your cell phone building to get away? I think that's actually I think it's fair to name. Like, do you pay $150 for a cell phone, or do you have to give $20 a month away? That's an imbalance. spending more on going out to eat.
Yeah, I was gonna calculate it by how much people spend on entertainment. That's why I have a decent, like, measure of how comfortable they are with their own finances, because they're from what they can get.
How do you then encourage, so you have all these, like Ryan mentioned, you have all these other pots people are giving. How do you, and if it all counts, how then do you?
We are actually pretty, we're pretty consistent in giving a time, task, and treasure. Like people give them different ways, and they are all valuable. So when we have our commitment cards, we ask for people to make like it's a time, talent, and treasure. Knowing that some people would be able to give treasure in ways that other people are not able to, and in fact, some people who can give treasure don't have any time.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna be able to give at the Wilson Church. So that all of those gifts are critical to the whole. No one of us has to bring all three of those gifts. We all have to together have enough of all of that. And so this is, we really love our narrative budget, but I do think they're one of the most important pieces of how you tell a story around giving. If you go to the front, lots of pictures, lots of information about the community, where our money goes, and it's all divided. It's divided by our tagline, the justice love by the way and walk humbly. So I think marketing around a sound tagline is really important. Being able to divide out your ministry giving in ways that are not like building, right? Or even things like education, right? Because that's just a big, right, piece. And in fact, education goes across a lot of different weeds and you live out your vision. So your narrative budget's around your vision and your vision statement, and sometimes you need to rework your vision statement to actually have one that's,
I want to be guys.
right?
Go to your place.
Let me tell you, if you go to landtheskychurch.org, give, you can. Online giving. Also important.
Yep. I'm aware that it's 6:41, so dinner is.
Can I give one last thing, which is that, I don't know what your denominational bodies are, but I encourage you to get your denominational bodies, unless your congregationalism in places it doesn't apply, to set up something so that when churches close, that money can go into something that can then be funded, like as grant funding for things. Most Presbyterian Wesleyan don't have anything in place for anything purposeful to be done with that money when a church closes. And the building's sold. Congregationalism doesn't.
So if Chad and I were gonna move,
Yes.
we're not really.
Tell you, I wouldn't be friends.
I mean, I would be. He and I and my wife talked about, I'm not really that seriously, we should move to Asheville.
You should totally come. Come be a member of our church. Don't move there and start one.
Work there. Oh, yeah.
I mean, not that was fine, it's just exactly.
No, actually.
Exactly. Cross-pollinating, yes. No, yeah, it'll be good.
Because everybody lives east of the church. I am the only, me and one other person live west of the church.
Who's gonna talk?
Because everybody's standardized.
And then we did, we supported the union.
You gonna come, or you want me to go without you? You gonna drive?
I'll drive, let me tell me all about it.
You don't wanna hear about my life.
This thing with suburban folks that we keep running into is that everyone hides in their houses, like suburbanites hide in their houses. And you have to, so the actual neighbors are harder to meet than the people who would drive in from another place, because you can meet them at an art museum. The actual neighbors, you can't just go up to their house if you're a creeper, I don't wanna be a creeper. All right, let's eat dinner.
Yeah.
I'm a hungry hippo. But we are on the cutting edge of that, and so, but the thing, I just, and I know people say this, like, there's no one who's modeled things to the Northeast. Every church plant conference thing I go to is like, here's how to do it in the South. And it works when people are looking for church.
Do you have access to the Mission Insight data?
No, I don't think so, not right now. I know about it, but I don't.
That's not. I just opened up New York because we're on the border, so I called them and said, you know, part of our 10-minute radius goes into New York, and I don't have access to that data. Can I get it now? So, and then that opened up the entire state for me, so I can pull all the demographic data for you. One of the things I was thinking about though, that I can to say is, and it goes back to the little circle, you know, your passions, the church, what the church can do. Sadly enough, when we did our Christmas offering, we put in a new chairlift, new LED light bulbs, and we had one other project here, what it was, new glass doors for the front. We raised $25,000. We asked for it, we got it. When we asked to support the music kids in New York, this was for our Easter offering, to money to retool our Christian Executive group for rotation model, and to hire singers for the choir, we got $7,000. So although those things were my passion, they were not the church's passion. And at some point, you have to say, okay, if they're passionate about the building, and they're going to give to the building, what can we do with the building?
Yeah.
You know, because they're going to support it, and they're going to give to it. And it's because it's what they're passionate about. And I know it pains us to do that because it's not what we're passionate about, but it is what they're passionate about.
Well, and I do think that there's, I mean, I think it goes both ways, like you can be right.
And then once
And then the other hand is that you have to educate them on why, what the barriers are to getting to Newark, why we're hesitating on that, like what's going on there to raise those issues
We have that
and to tell the story, you know, in a different way that like, I don't know.
And something more else said because I'm not doing a scholarship to a kid in Martin.
Well, and that's because of nationwide racism. Like, that's just where it
Yeah. So that was the unfortunate.
Here, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna walk out with you. I just need to name this folder. What is this conference? Unco 2015.
We're still live streaming.
Oh, no. I don't do that, do I? Well, so did you find that conversation helpful?
thought you were running me down. I started to think so. What are you doing right now?
Oh, kind of a banner.
Oh, you don't need it. What do you?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, like, I gotta carry a couple things over, and if you were just kind of wandering around, I was gonna say, grab some stuff and walk with me.
No, I only look purposeless.
This is where I can give you a bumper sticker, not all who wander are lost. Which you probably have no idea until I just told you.
I've never heard of it. How does that whole thing go? None of the glitters is gold. None of the water is lost.
I don't know.
I need to reread those.
Right, I'm kind of like that same thing, like, oh, I really need to.
Someday.
Right, when I have free time.
Yeah, of course, that day.
I already finished, I got getting some auction stuff, going, so I gotta get,
Wow.
but it was like, I was like, don't take this as an excuse. I actually used it as a joke, like with them. I was like,
Yeah.
see, it happens to all of us. Like,
See?
you can't not do it because, like,
Right.
you're afraid this might happen. Like,
It already happened there.
like what we ended up where we would have been anyways.
Wow.
Right. But yeah, that's my favorite one. I'm like, oh my god.
Everybody okay?
Anybody need anything? Running out.
I don't think so, but.
You want to
I
like
don't think they
store?
would know. I was gonna say, you might check with Jen and Slate Project folks, but.
Like the little ones or the, like a
The
medium size?
regular, like the regular